to today's broadcast.
Or you did. All right, so let's go to Luke chapter 12. We're gonna actually finish up the victim teaching, so we can get into something else next week. We got a few things on the oven cooking, so we'll be shifting some things. Let's go to Luke 12 to start off. And we'll start here at verse 41, Luke 12:41. And this is interesting. The heading in my Bible, in my Hebrew and Greek study Bible, says the duties of Christ's ministers or servants. It says, "Then Peter said unto him, Lord, speakest thou this parable unto us, or even to all?" And Jesus was talking about watchful servants. He was talking about anxiety. He was talking about how to handle things. He was going through a litany of things. But the Lord said, verse 42, "Who then is faithful and wise? Who then is that faithful and wise steward?" He says, "Whom his Lord shall make ruler over his household to give them their portion of meat in due season." So he's basically, we go through the scriptures, you're on the tutors and governors to the appointed time of the Father. So he's saying, who is the person that God really is so excited that he wants to give him what he wants him to have or what he believes he deserves, because he's ready, all right? He says, "Blessed is that servant whom his Lord, when he cometh, shall find so doing." Obviously, so doing what? Doing what his word says, or being obedient, right? It says, "Of a truth, I say unto you that he will make him ruler over all that he has." It says, "But if that servant say in his heart, my Lord delayeth his coming, my Lord delayeth his coming, and shall begin to beat the men servants and maid servants, not take care of those that he's been given steward over, and to eat and drink and to be drunken," or to be drunk, "the Lord of that servant will come in a day when he looketh not for him." So the Lord will show up when he's not prepared, and at an hour when he is not aware, and will cut him in asunder. It says, "and will appoint his portion with the unbelievers." He says, "And that servant which knew his Lord's will, and prepared not himself, neither did according to his will, shall be beaten with many stripes. But he that knew not, and did commit things worthy of stripes, shall be beaten with few stripes. For unto whomsoever much is given, of him shall be much required. And to whom men have committed much, of him they will ask the more." So this particular scripture is breaking down, just being steward over what we've been exposed to. So we're learning different things. We're getting, hearing God's word. Some of us have known God's word for years. Some of us have known God's word for just in a short period of time. Some people have just getting to know God's word, but we're accountable for all that we know. So he's saying that those that know and don't do, they have consequences. Now he said, well, he talked about them getting stripes and getting beaten. Now the person with the victim mentality is going, see, man, nobody's perfect. Why is that person getting beaten with stripes and stuff like that? Because they know better. They could have done better. It's just like saying, so I've had a few jobs in my life. So when I was in upstate New York, I actually was a manager in working with juvenile corrections. So I, had a staff over me. So a lot of the people that came into upstate New York were from New Jersey. So I had a lot of friends, played ball with, I was cool with. And so I had two incidents. One incident, we have a staff meeting. We had a weekly staff meeting, and the guy didn't show up. Now, when you worked there, you stayed there where you worked. So you could go home, but if you was off, they gave you a room. You could just stay up on the campus. So, so since we all was kind of close, I got wind that the guy wasn't home. He was in his, I don't want to call it a dorm, but you had like your room within a certain complex. So I got in the car. I said, okay, hold on. You can conduct the meeting up to this point. Let me go. So I went over to the location. So he was in his room doing what he wasn't supposed to be doing. And so when he came to the door, he wasn't in denial. He wasn't going, oh my God, I'm busted. I said, we got a staff meeting. And I can't say specifically what he said, but he said, Brad, people call me Brad. Brad, man, I thought you let me go for, I'm just going to say a time of pleasure. That's not what he said. But he said, I just figured you let me go. I said, well, tell you what. I said, we had a staff meeting. The rule is if you don't come to staff meeting, you're fired. That was the especially in his case, he had missed some meetings. I said, you're fired. It wasn't even personal. And so he looked at me like, surely you joking. No, I'm not joking. You're fired. And see, the reason why I didn't feel bad, because he had the choice. If the rule is if you don't show up, you're fired, and you don't show up, you're fired. Had another young man play for a traveling team. I had a traveling team. And the rule was you don't come to practice, you're not on the team. He was my best player. He was a phenomenal basketball player. Actually, he made the team. And so we had practice, but the same day they had a skating event. It was in the Bronx, New York, where you go skating. So he went skating. Came back the next day, showed up for practice. I said, what are you doing here? He says, well, Mr. Bradley, I came for practice. I said, oh, no, you're not on the team. You cut. Remember, you don't come to practice, you cut. He said, oh, man, I figured you let me go for skating. I said, well, evidently skating was more important than coming to practice. You already knew what the rule was. You were willing to risk being on the team by going skating. See you later. I needed him, too. And I told him, I said, I would rather you learn this lesson today at the cost of this team than you have to deal with this lesson when something else is bigger on the line. You could be playing for your college or pro or this, that, and the other. I said, so even though it wasn't even about me, because it was about me. He would have been on the team. I'd be like, okay, we'll just figure this out, because I needed him. But you don't help a person's situation at the expense of their life. And he tried to play the victim, but I don't understand. And everybody was going, well, come on, man, we need him. Well, evidently, the team wasn't important to him. So he got cut. And again, it was a tough choice, but what people try to do in those situations, they'll play the victim and get you to change the consequence that they chose. They chose a consequence. When we decide that we don't want to be serious in the word, there's a consequence. The Bible tells us. I just read it in Luke. It tells us what'll happen if you know better and don't do better. Right? It tells you how you'll go blind. It tells you how, if you hear the word, not do of the word, you're like a person that beholds himself in the mirror and goes his way and forget what manner of man he was, loses sight of who you are. It says that. Then you lose sight of who you are, and you go, see, come on, man. It ain't my fault. Nobody's perfect. Nobody is perfect, but since we're not talking about perfection, we don't need to use that. Only victims use that. You don't have to be perfect to live this out. Y'all know that, right? God is giving you this script, but he's not giving you this script and saying the only way you can do this script is you have to be perfect 24/7. He's still saying strive for perfection. But he's not saying when you start to live this out, immediately you reach perfect status. So for us, it's all or none. Either I'm perfect or you got to understand nobody's perfect. What about I'm just trying to live for God? Doing everything I can do in every situation. And when I'm not, I'm going to eat the consequences for it. I was lazy, so I deserve what I get. I blew an opportunity. It's all my fault. I didn't study, so I didn't pass the test. If they let me stay on the team, fine. If they don't, hey, I'm the one that didn't study. I'm just going to eat that. It's all my fault. What happened there? What happened to us doing that? As opposed to See, if it wasn't for them, we just had a conversation, me and my wife, we was having a conversation driving, and I was talking about a situation that really hurt me at the time. But what I said was, I'm not, I just said this to you, didn't I? I said, I'm not. The difference is I wasn't needy. So when this particular person that I was depending on to guide and lead me, from their own words, they got distracted by a situation in life, fell off the wagon. I didn't stop growing. I just start researching. I start figuring stuff out. I took what I knew and advanced on it. So I still kept growing. So I still was going to make myself ready. But suppose when it was time for me to be ready, I go, well, Lord, they was busy. They was distracted. They didn't tell me the next thing to do. What am I supposed to do then? If it wasn't for, if they was doing what they're supposed to do, and I have a hardline rule that I learned as a kid. I don't know where I got it from. I couldn't, most of the time I could tell you where I got stuff from. But never put your destiny in another man's hands. Because there's so many people that don't have the best case scenarios, but they still arrive at where they're going. They still get to their destination because what they say is, oh, ain't nothing stopping me. As opposed to taking every, what am I trying to say, Stella? Every mishap or every unfavorable situation and using that as their excuse that that's the reason why I haven't moved forward. Well, she gave her testimony. Well, Lord Jesus, we probably would have never met you if you would have just let what happened to you be the defining reason why you live your life. You had to keep moving. You had to make a choice. I ain't even mentioning cancer. I was just talking about your life, like growing up. You know, dealing with, I don't know, maybe I need to go back and listen to the Stella CDs, right? I mean, just the things that happened growing up, how things played out parent-wise, abuse and life and death situations. If you'd have just like, you could have rolled that out. Well, I would be successful. But if they didn't do that to me, then you get through all that and cancer try to get you. And you could have been like, well, listen, I hung in here. I survived. I was about to sing on y'all. But I survived. Cancer comes get me. So it's cancer. I ain't do nothing to deserve this cancer. Right? So now you could have had another excuse. But I'm sitting there looking at you, smiling back there. I'm sitting there looking at you, excited about Marcus over there. Right? Right, so why you just didn't give up? Because, listen, there's people in here that's gone through less, and they done played the victim. So listen, surely you can play the victim. That was my excuse the first 14 years. Hey, my parents ain't do what they were supposed to do, left me with strangers. I have a good reason to be the victim. And after a while, man, it just don't wear well. You know, like, I ain't doing nothing. So I was like, man, I might have to do something about this. I can't keep using what they did to me, how they left me, how they didn't think about me. I can't keep using that mess. I got to go, listen, some of y'all, I'll be watching some of y'all, I wish I had something like I was saying this about Tia one day. I wish I had parents like that. Listen, I ain't really need my parents to achieve. I can work hard on my own. But if somebody would have took care of my economics, like I could have been working on my game, not packing bags in the supermarket, hustling for quarters. Ma'am, can I carry your bag to your car with you? Nah, son, we okay today. Dealing with rejection and stuff like that. Ma'am, could I help you today? Nah, young man, get away from me. Little hood, probably gonna steal from me. You know, ma'am, because this is back in the day. They don't do this now, but the old ladies would come with the little steel carts, and they would get their groceries, put them in the carts, and they would roll them home. You know, so they still do that? Oh, really? Oh, wow. Oh, when they got to get on the bus. So, but these people in Newark, they wouldn't get on the bus. They was actually going home, right? So what we would do is try to, you know, just so we get a tip, We like, hey, man, can I take your stuff home for you? Sometimes we carry it back. Sometimes we help them with their cart. Now, the trip is you can go all the way home with somebody. You can go blocks. Now, why you going with the blocks? You can't get no other tips. And somebody give you a quarter. Like, okay, wait a minute. I packed your bags and I took them home. I'm supposed to get a quarter for just packing the bag. One bag. Like, I done took your groceries in the house and everything. But we would do. So why am I doing that? I'm doing that so I can get another pair of sneakers. That's why I'm doing that. Some of y'all don't have that issue. Cell phones? Oh, we had cell phone back then. Listen, I wouldn't be able to call nobody. I couldn't even get clothes for school. I would show up at school with less than everybody had. And it's all about first day of school. What you got? What you got? Man, I had something that everybody be cracking on. Every year, like, oh, this is not cool. You spent $50 on 15 items. That's not going to go over well. If you gave me the $50, I'd have bought 2 nice items, and I'd have just milked those through the course of the year. At least I could play those out. I'm already sneaking my suit pants on to wear those to school, so it looked like I got something sweet. This is, see, I wasn't thinking about who was going to take me to I never went to a camp in my life. Well, that's not true, because when I got older, I went to pro camps. I'm talking about coming up, they had what they call 5-star camp. I never went to 5-star camp. I ain't even ask. Because I wasn't going. I wasn't going. Wasn't nobody, listen, wasn't nobody buying me cleats. They didn't buy I play baseball. They didn't buy my glove. My dad got the glove. I'm not going to say how he got it, but he got the glove. He saw it at a particular place he was working and decided to bring it home to me. So that's how I got the glove. And then the people that I was living with, the young man stole that, took it home with him. So actually, I played my whole time playing baseball. I don't know where I got the glove from. It was an old glove, but I did the whole breaking it in, put the oil in it. It was special to me, because I had a glove. But didn't nobody go by. Please. I had the cleats like, I think they was called spot builds. Like, they was like the cheapest cleats in the world. I had the cheapest shoes to play basketball. Like, I ain't had none of this stuff. Like, I be watching y'all be having all types of stuff, but you complaining about stuff you have, right, when you don't realize you're taking it for granted. So we be playing the victim a lot of times, and we've been afforded more stuff than quite a few people. So that's why I use Stella's story, because a lot of people have had it a lot worse. And see, so we can get past ourselves, and this is what victims do, and we can start maybe paying attention to the seeds we're sowing in our lives. Because victims don't recognize the seeds they sow. They don't pay attention to the seeds they sow. They don't know, like sometimes adults don't know what the seeds they're sowing into their kids, what they're training their kids to do. They don't pay attention to the picture that they're painting. They don't know how they're setting up their future. So a lot of times we're getting the results of the choices we're making. But then when we get the results, we're going, I don't understand where this came from. This ain't right. Well, you sowed the seed for that. Or you didn't pay attention to the seed that you were sowing for that, right? When we're too busy to read, when we're too busy to hear God's word, listen to that God's word. Me and my wife be talking to people, and so they'll it could be counseling or whatever, but let's say if they're here at the church. And so we go, well, what probably could help that situation is last Wednesday's message. Because the situation is exactly what was taught the previous Wednesday. Oh, you be trying to figure out, should you say this? Were you there Sunday? Because what they're talking about, you be like, I don't want to assume that they wasn't there, but was you there? And then they go, yeah, I was there. I was like, well, are you going to apply what you heard? Because everything was taught in the message. But if you're so caught up in yourself, you're not locking in, you're not reading, you're not meditating. And so God is just giving you information for a reason. You go, I don't understand how I get there. You got there because you didn't meditate on his word day and night. That's how you got there. You didn't meditate. You didn't study. You didn't listen. You was too busy to pay attention, right? Because you had more vain commitments that was more valuable than God's commitments. How many times have we said, this is it? I'm going to do this. I'm going to take it to the next level. Then we don't. You know, that's a vow. God, this is it. I'm going to do this. And then you don't. And then when crazy happens, you go, I don't understand. Well, I was trying. And no, we don't get that. In no place else in life do people get that pass. The person that says I was trying doesn't allow the people around them to say they was just trying. They don't even allow, God can't even say that. Suppose God just say, the same measure you meet to be measured back to you. God said, well, I was trying. No, God can't be trying. He got to come through. But you can just try. Something's wrong with that picture, right? You know, so sometimes we're too busy to really lock in and hear God's direction on things. The scripture says in Luke 21:34, it says, take heed to yourselves, lest at any time your heart should be overcharged with drunkenness and the cares of this life, so that day comes upon you unaware. So it says, when something hits you, it comes upon you and you're not ready for it, because why? As Luke 21:34, you weren't paying attention. You were so distracted. You were so caught up in self, because sometimes you can get drunk off yourself, that stuff just hit you and you be like, where'd this come from? It was coming the whole time. You just wasn't paying attention. Something I would pick with my wife about some years back. She'd be like, what was it? Man, it's 11 o'clock. I was like, babe, it was going to be 11 o'clock 3 hours ago. Like 11 o'clock is not a surprise. It was coming. But if you're busy, it comes unaware, right? Well, the situation that you're in this week, last month, man, this just came out of nowhere. No, it didn't. It was coming. You were just unaware. And God was trying to give you direction and let you know, right? Hold on a second. Proverbs 14:15. It says, the simple believeth every word, but the prudent man looketh well to his going. What it's saying is the simple, they just pulled in so many different directions based on everything they hear. It says, but the prudent are intentional in their steps. Those that are locked in, they're intentional in their steps. The person that's simple, they're dragged around all the time. Because they believe everything. It's all good to them. And that person ends up playing a victim a lot, because the Bible says walk circumspectly. It doesn't say just go with everything. Don't just go with every word. So selfishness, what it does, it causes blindness. It's insensitivity to the effect that we had and we've had in life or have had on others. And what everybody's going through is just all about us. Selfishness, when it advances, it crosses over into lust. And lust is an overdosing on yourself, like you ODing on yourself. So Galatians 5:16. Let's go there real quick. Galatians 5:16. And, you know, we want to end with this victim. You know, what's this, Independence Day in our country. And, of course, this country gaining its independence from when it started to colonize, to be separate from the rule of, the government that they were over before they came out here. But when God sent us in his earth realm, he sent us his earth realm to colonize, to be a part of his kingdom. And he wants us to walk in liberty, to be independent of being conformed to this world. And the way we do, he wants us, see, when we're conformed to this world, everybody in the world plays victims. You hear it all the time. Like, you just go to the beauty salon and the barbershop. You just hear it all day. Everybody's a victim. Everybody getting played. And it's all the government's fault, the president's fault. They doing something to our people. Everybody got their people. Like everybody playing the victim. Like, so, all right, so, because I know a lot of people ain't going to like this when they hear this message, but that's okay. All right, so let's say the people that's playing you, what are they going to do to help you? Individually, as an individual, what they going to do? What's the government really going to do to help you? So the government's going to come to your house, sit with you, find out what your request is, and make sure you get everything you need. Well, somebody else is not going to like what you get. So then that person's going to be mad. Okay, then they're going to adjust things for that person. Well, then now you're going to be mad. And then the other people are going to be mad. The government can't help you. It's not designed for that. It's designed to create boundaries to keep us from crashing into each other in life. But it's not designed to God has given you everything you need, him. He's just fearfully and wonderfully made you to help yourself. Galatians 5:16, that's where I told you to go. Galatians 5:16. It tells us to walk in the spirit, we should not fulfill the lust of the flesh. The flesh is always wanting to be a victim. The flesh wants to be depressed. The flesh wants to be lazy. The flesh wants to excuse its responsibility to get over those hurdles of things being unfair. And actually, I'm not saying this to put down parents, okay? But I think parents probably feel bad. It's like, well, why did I put forth all this effort if it's going to be smacked in my face and you're going to use all my effort almost as if it didn't exist because you just didn't get this 1 or 2 or 3 or 4, whatever thing. You know, and that's how we treat God. Like, we forget what he's given us. We just focus on what we don't have in the moment. That's the victim mentality, as opposed to taking what he's given us and maximizing every moment. See, that's a whole nother flow. That's walking by faith and not by sight. That's walking in the spirit, not fulfilling the lust of the flesh. The flesh, listen, I got to do it. So I just use me. I got to fight being a victim. You know, especially when you pastor in the church, you got all these different people come from all walks of life, different processes. Then God, you know, babe, he ain't give us one of those accommodating, do all the things that's popular churches, you know, because that'd be easy. Because people are attracted to that. All you got to do is, I don't know, I don't want to dog no other church out. I'm about to, but see, you know what I'm saying? Like, but there's like, okay, so I had somebody I had to consult with, and this person, like, he says, oh my God, you know, he said, it was a joy talking to you. Like, you really care about people. He said, so I'm around someone that's in ministry that's not about people. But within some months, the church grew to maybe 1,000 folk. But think about it. There's no accountability. So everybody's excited. Look, we can come in, slip in, keep doing what we do, and the pastor ain't paying us no mind, because he wasn't. This guy said, I've never had a conversation with him. The other person said, well, I've never talked to the person. You know, they never had a conversation with. Like, so that you could walk by and they'd be like, they don't care. Like, we actually care. I mean, like, we're going to ask you a question. Like, but if you left it up to us, we wouldn't ask, because we want to be like everybody else, but we'll risk being liked so you get what you need. It's not about accommodating us. We'll tell you the truth, even though some people are like, all right, that's enough of that truth. I'm going to go down to such and such, because, see, you ain't got to be perfect there, because you'll take the truth as, I got to be perfect. No, you got to embrace the truth. You got to embrace what the Bible says. I can't water this thing down. Listen, I'd rather be uncomfortable with the people that really want the word than to be comfortable with a bunch of people and I got a good rep. I'm going to be looking over my shoulder the whole time, waiting for the whole thing to cave in. So I can play the victim and go, but they ain't doing what they supposed to do. Why I got to be perfect and do what I'm supposed to do? Why can't I cheat like them? Why can't we just do what everybody's doing? It's popular. I can't play the victim. My wife, listen, I live with Pastor Melanie. I know Pastor Melanie lives with me, but since I got the mic, I'm going to flip it. I live with Pastor Mel. Pastor Mel, she don't be playing. Like, she ain't no yes woman sitting around the house. Okay, honey. You know, like, you know, some type of, like, what's the oh, this is not going to be cool. I can't say that. I was about to use, yeah, no, I can't say that. I can't say it. Yeah, I'll just do it like this. She just be sitting around. No matter what I do, like, she just, yeah, I know good and well, Pastor Mel, don't roll like that. Actually, I mean, she honors me as a husband. She lets me lead. But she ain't, I better know what I'm talking about. Listen, I can't even be at the house like, I can't guess nothing at the house. Put it that way. I can't be like, let's just see how this works out. Oh, no, dude, we ain't seeing how it works out. Why are we going in that direction? And explain why that's important for us. And well, if I'm going to follow you, you got to give me an understanding of what I'm following. Well, I'm not just rolling with you, brother. You know what I've been through in my life? Listen, we better be going somewhere. But see, some people could take, gee, what, she trying to boss him around. No, she's holding me accountable. I'm the leader. I don't know why I'm getting those aged men over there, but you understand what I'm saying? Like, but so that's cool for me. So if I'm holding you accountable, I'm not holding you accountable because I'm not being held accountable. Believe me, that lady back there, not just her, God's holding me accountable. I have a relationship with God. I talk to men of God. They be asking me questions. If it rolls with what we're doing, it's fine. Some people, I ain't gonna get into that either. But anyway, it's accountability. It's not like we just doing whatever I want to do. I'm accountable to the people of the church. Listen, they came up with this. You know what I was thinking? After this podium, because of the culture I was in, I was like, okay, the next podium is going to be like sweet, kind of big, you know, add the little big logo, but probably like with the colors on it, like we got on back there. So that's what I thought. That's not the next podium. Because I'm accountable. Well, actually, Pastor, we thought about, they changing this whole stage. I said they. Now, of course, they ain't going to just like, we doing this, bro, you just going to roll with it. They bouncing it off of me. But when they came up with it, it was like, well, sounds good to me. Then once they start doing that, I was like, okay, so I was about to order the podium. I sent the text, sent it to the people that's coordinating it. Y'all let me know if this works. Because I'm accountable. I'm just trying to do stuff. Right? So you got to be accountable too. Just thought I'll let y'all know ahead of time. You listen, this is 7th year anniversary, year of completion. Right after, day one after the anniversary, we're starting new beginnings. Number 8. Just thought I'd let y'all know. Every year, the people that's been here for a while, every year after the anniversary, we step up. We've been, from day one, after the first year, listen, we had people, I don't know why I'm talking about this. We had people, all right, so when we first started church, nobody was a part of any helps ministry or nothing. We were the helps ministry. So then you had one guy come and says, hey, I see you doing sound. Listen, this is what I would do. I would get the sound together, get the camera together, then run up and preach. So as Pastor Mel was singing, and we had a couple other psalmists, so I would do their sound for him. And then when the sound was over, you know how we transition now, Minister Sammy come up. When the sound was over, I would set it because I got to preach now. So I got to set it for me, then I run up and preach. Right? And then let's say we call for a song. We call for a song. Now I got to run back, do the sound, right? Make sure that's EQ right, and then run up. And I ain't had no office. My office was in the back of the church. I was waiting in the back of the church to see everybody when they come in, right? So then one guy was like, man, listen, he did productions. He started doing sound. And one day he ain't show up. He didn't call. He didn't have to call. He just said, hey, I'll help you with the sound. He didn't say I'm responsible for the sound. So guess what? That day, I'm looking around, ready to preach. I was like, oh, well, he ain't here. He ain't called. I did the sound. I couldn't go, man, you need to be here. Give me a call. Still wasn't responsible for the sound. We were, though. Some people would help with chairs when it was time to leave. Some people would jet. We had to take down the chairs after every service. The only people that was stacking those chairs up at night was me and her. I'd be trying to get like 7 to 8 of them chairs at the same time. What I'm trying to say is that was a stage. The next stage was right after the anniversary, we said, okay, we need people to be responsible for stuff. So now you got people that was responsible, that they would call if they wasn't doing stuff. The next stage, we need people to oversee areas. All these happen after each anniversary. Every anniversary is like, okay, we need people to get a lot more serious in what they're doing. What do you think we're going to do after this anniversary? No more victims. No more victims. All right. So Sade says something during Fast Week. She said, "What you appreciate appreciates. What you appreciate, what you value, appreciates, gains value." Right? And what I got is what you have value for, you add value to. And see, so if you have value for your purpose in life and your walk with the kingdom, you operate at a certain level of appreciation. See, appreciation doesn't always look for what people aren't doing. They look for what people are doing. They look for, like, we appreciate you guys, but not just for what you do. We have to look for the greatness in you. So we have to appreciate every little part of you. That increases value. But if we spend all our time looking for what's wrong, we'll never go nowhere. Because everybody is displaying something wrong, including myself. Right? So we have to always look for what's best, and then work with that and build and grow that. Does that make sense? Right. But if everybody's playing the victim, the victims are always looking for what's wrong to justify them not moving forward. Listen to what I just said. Victims are always looking for what's wrong to justify them not looking forward. Right? Not looking for what's best, right? So we have to embrace some realities, right? Victims don't embrace reality. And the reality may be you're just selfish. I just decided to be quiet for a reason. That might be the reality. But you have to embrace that reality. But victims don't embrace the reality of okay, so I'll give you another example. I did a Bible study on a college campus in Ohio. Capital University, that's where I met Isaac at. And so I'm doing a Bible study, and in this particular Bible study, we're talking about, I think we're talking about relationships. So one person said, well, I don't understand why I keep attracting the wrong people. This is what they said. So, like at the end here, this didn't start on Wednesdays here. It started at Capital University, where at the end I would ask people questions. I always liked exchange. So the person said, well, I don't understand why I'm attracting the wrong people. So I said, you ever seen the movie, not the movie, the cartoon, the Peanuts? Y'all know Charlie Brown? All right, so Charlie Brown had a friend called Pigpen, right? Y'all remember Pigpen? All right, so you need to look up Charlie Brown, Pigpen. But Pigpen, everywhere he went, there was a cloud of soot, or it was like funk or dirt, or like everywhere Pigpen went, it was like this cloud of funk around him. So I asked the person, the Bible study got to the end. I said, okay, so let's go back to your question about why you keep attracting the wrong people. I said, if you were walking down the street and you saw somebody and they had swarms of flies all around them, right? Just everywhere they went, just flies, just zing, 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 zing. I mean, a lot of them. What would you think? What would you think? What'd you say? They stank. So she said nasty, and you said, look, you should have seen Venice's, she said they stank, right? All right, so I told the person, look at the relationships or the people as flies. That's what I said. So Bible study kept going on. At the end, you go around. What did you learn? What did you learn? What did you learn? The person said, up to today, all this time, I thought I was smelling sweet, and I realized I smell like fish. All right, so what she was saying is, I just embrace your reality today. I was so busy going, I don't know why. Look, basically, I don't know why all these flies keep following me. And some of us do the same thing. The victim goes, I don't know why this is happening. But do they take the time? And see, what we do is we play off of all or none. So either we're good people or we're evil. And that's our only standard of life. But there's so much in between ground. Guess what? There's if we're obedient or disobedient. Well, we're not going to figure that in because then we can't go, I'm a nice person. Yeah, do you know there are nice people that are disobedient? Did y'all know that? But see, we ain't playing off of obedience and disobedience, Stella. We're playing off of, am I good or bad? So what we do is we gather our own intel, meaning that we find people in life that are either bad or evil, right? Now, we may not write them down, but we'll have them in our mind. It could be our cousin, could be Uncle Billy, could be the dude at school that's always talking nasty. He always picking with the other girls at school. He never listens to the coach. Now, the dude could be a genius and he could be a poet for all you know. But all you know is, for you, he doesn't flow like you do, right? So now you walk around and go, I'm a nice person. Or you may look at the person that you may serve at church, this person doesn't, right? So you go, I serve at church. Or you may be here all the time and they're not, right? So we'll look at that. But we're skipping something, aren't we, Rob? We're skipping, are you obedient or disobedient? Because the Bible says, I'd rather obedience than sacrifice. So we'll look at the sacrifices we make and go, they don't make no sacrifice. I make a lot of sacrifices. Look at them. And then when something happens, what are we playing off of? Our sacrifices, not our obedience. Obedience keeps you out of that mess. And so I'll give you another story. I got stories, got plenty of stories. So you're going to remember this, and I won't use your name. All right, so this is a top-tier athlete that I happened to be around, but I hadn't really met yet. Well, I met, they had brought him to ministry, so they had introduced him to me, but I didn't know this person. We wasn't kicking it. And so since he came to the ministry, I'm following him in his career, and since he was on TV all the time, it's easy to follow his career. And sometimes in this particular locale, I went to the games. And as Pastor Mel or any man or woman of God, you discern stuff. As if you're around a man or woman of God, they pick up things. You don't even have to be trying. You can just be sitting around and something ain't right there. And so I'm showing up and I'm like, whoa, what is that? So I said, Lord, what's going on? He says, I need the person to be obedient. They're a nice person. They're the nicest person on the team. Very few people even mention me on the team, but they do. But they're not obedient. And I need you to go talk to them. Like, come on, Lord, this, I don't even know this guy. And he's going to be like, who you think you're talking to? First of all, high profile. No profile. That's kind of how, at that stage of my life, no profile. I was a up-and-coming minister. I wasn't even I think I worked with youth back then. I wasn't even the assistant or top guy. I wasn't nothing. So I was like, Lord, this is who he gonna be like, who you think you're talking to? Do you know who I am, kind of? So, but knowing me, I did it anyway. I said, man, the Lord is saying he needs you to be a little more obedient, to be more consistent, and be more diligent in what you do in the Lord. And he had that look like, who you think you're talking to? I said it, went away. I didn't go away like, this was wonderful. This is a powerful moment. I went away like, oh, boy, I don't know how that's going to go, because he may go to the pastor and be like, hey, you need to talk to your guy. He going to tell me that I'm not doing nothing. But this guy got in his car, and the Holy Spirit said, what he just told you is exactly what you need to do. Changed his entire life. He's like, man, this dude, they would play in Wisconsin. Okay. I should have picked another team, but this is actually a true story, so I couldn't. All right, so they would play in Wisconsin, leave Wisconsin, flying from Wisconsin, might get back 3 or 4 in the morning. We had a 7:45 service. He was there. He was there. He was there for everything. His whole life changed. I'm not going to get into the specifics and details. Whole life changed. Ended up having a wonderful NFL career and some other things. But it wasn't that the person wasn't a nice person. God needed obedience. See, so we don't play off of obedience. I'm a nice person. Or we play off of our line. Nobody's perfect. Do you have to be perfect to be obedient? That's the question. Oh, I done messed you all up, didn't I? Because you ain't got to be perfect to be obedient, do you? Okay. All right. So the victim never looks at obedience. The victim only looks at their assessment of themselves. The victim only looks at their assessment of themselves, not what God sees, how they see themselves. So they're making themselves their own God, right? And so sometimes we have to come up out of that bubble. You know, we did a teaching a while ago called Burst That Bubble. And we got to leave that bubble alone, that being under our own protective custody, right? Let's go to 2 Timothy 2. 2 Timothy 2. Well, let's go to, I'm going to walk you through 4 scriptures, okay? And hopefully the 4 scriptures will break that bubble. Let's go to Proverbs 3. We're going to go to the other scriptures I just said too. So we're going to go to James chapter 1. We're going to go to 2 Timothy 2. But let's just start with Proverbs 3. So we're going to go to James 1:19. We can go to 2 Timothy 2:24 and 25. But we're going to start with Proverbs 3:5 and 6. Okay? And I've used these scriptures here before, but it's always good to read through them. Proverbs 3:5 and 6. Okay? We'll start there. It says, trust the Lord with what? All thine heart, and lean not to thine own understanding. Look. In what? In how many ways? How many ways? Right. In all thy ways, acknowledge him, and he shall what? See, so if I'm acknowledging him in all my ways, I'm living an obedient life because he's directing my path. And when he directs it, I'm following the directions, right? I'm not changing them. I'm not filtering them. I'm not doing like what's the guy, Saul? I'm not trying to improve them, add to them, or switch them. That's when the scripture says, 1 Samuel 15:22, I rather obedience than sacrifice. He has specific instructions, and he called himself helping God. He wasn't trying to, I'm not going to do it. He was like, I'm going to do it, plus I'm going to do something else to help God. God said it. Like, I don't need your help. I just need you to be obedient. All right? 1 Samuel 15:22, right? So in all your ways, how many ways? Right. And he'll direct your path. But it starts off with saying lean not to what? So if I'm just obedient to that scripture. See, it didn't say you don't have an understanding. It says don't lean to it. It's saying lean to God's word, not to your understanding. Do what? Not to your understanding. Okay. Why don't you lean to your understanding? Let's go to James 1. James 1, chapter and verse, not my opinion, chapter and verse. The thought might be, we're going to go to James 1, the thought might be, well, I would be obedient if I know what to do. Are you investing enough time to know what to do? You invested more time in your justification of why it's been unfair than you've been invested in finding out from God what you're supposed to be doing. The next best step from here. God doesn't have to give you all the steps. If he knows exactly where he's taking you, all he has to do is give you the next step. And you have to be obedient to that. And guess what? Since you're coming to him for your daily bread, is what the scripture says, he can give you what? The next step there. Since you're coming back for your daily bread the next day, what? He can give you the next step. All he needs to do is give you each step when you talk to him. Your daily bread, right? Why does he have to give you all the steps at once? So you won't need to spend time with him? It wouldn't even make sense, right? Okay, all right, so since y'all got that one down, let's go, what is it? I said James 1:19, but that's not what I want. Hold on. Oh, no, yes, it is. Hold on. Let's just start with 19, and then I know I'm going to run into what I'm looking for. It says, wherefore, my brethren, let every man be swift to hear, and slow to speak, and slow to wrath. For the wrath of man worketh not the righteousness of God. Wherefore, let all filthiness and superfluity of naughtiness, and receive with meekness the engrafted word, which is able to save your souls. Right? It says, but be ye a doer of the word, and not hearers only, deceiving your own selves. So it says, if I'm just listening, but I'm not doing, not being obedient, I'm going to do what? Deceive myself. See, you don't want to lean to your own understanding and not do what the word tells you to do, to be obedient, because you'll deceive yourself. And if you deceive yourself, it'll take you someplace else. Let's go to 2 Timothy. See, victims only spend time in their own understanding. They're not trying to seek to understand and try to discover or embrace a reality that they may not have seen. Surely it couldn't be them. It has to be God, or it has to be somebody else, because they're perfect. All right, so 2 Timothy 2, what did I tell you? I told you 24, right? It says, and the servant of the Lord must not strive, but be gentle unto all men, apt to teach, patient. Look, in meekness, there's that word meekness again, instructing those what? That oppose themselves. If God, peradventure, which means perhaps, will give them repentance to the acknowledging of what? The truth, embracing the truth. Right, so it says that our job, Pastor Mel, or anybody speaking, or anybody that's guiding you, or your leaders in your life, your parents, is to guide you into truth, because a lot of times we have a tendency to oppose ourselves. We be coming against our own selves. It says, and if you get the truth will stop you from opposing yourself. Verse 26. It says, and they may recover themselves out of the snare of the devil, who are taken captive by him at his will. So what it's saying is, if you get the truth, you'll recover yourself from opposing yourself. Why did you oppose yourself? Because you weren't obedient. You wasn't doing the word that you was hearing, and you deceived yourself. Why did you deceive yourself? Because the reason why you weren't doing the word, because you was leaning to your own understanding. You wasn't acknowledging him in all your ways and letting him direct your path. And so when we get into crazy, we just go, but I'm a nice person. Man, there's people out here robbing and killing. And so some people say, I'm not robbing and killing nobody. Was that an option? Like you're playing off of the worst case scenario, saying you're not doing it. You're not supposed to be doing it. You don't get brownie points for not doing something you're not supposed to be doing, just like I don't get brownie points because I don't get high no more. I never was supposed to be getting high back in the day. So God is not going, Keith is a very special person because he used to be out there and he's not anymore. I never was supposed to be out there. I don't get points for that. I get points for obedience. I get points for fulfilling the will that God designed me to live out. I don't get points because I go to church more than somebody else or I read more than somebody else. If listen, I can read more chapters than everybody in this room and I'm obedient to none. You could read 75 chapters less than me and obedient to one and you doing better than me. It's not just about what we know, it's about what we show. It's not just about, look, I know that scripture. Are you living it? Are you applying it? So again, a victim is running from obedience. The victim is running from obedience. They're not stopping to embrace the truth that you're not being obedient. And God is not endorsing a life that's not obedient. I didn't share this part about the guy, the athlete, but they just kept, what drew me to them is they kept having these little like they couldn't get on the field. They couldn't get on the field because they kept having these injuries. That's these little different things. And I was like, this is a nice guy. What's happening? And the Lord said, no, I need them to be obedient. Because every time they're not obedient, they're outside of my presence. I can't cover them out there. And so, and if they lean to their own understanding, I can't come out there because they're under their own protection. They're not under my protection. When we lean to our own understanding, we're saying that our understanding, our will, our way of doing things can cover us, protect us, provide for us. See, we're not saying that because we look for God to cover us. God says, why should I cover you? You're doing your own thing. You're not staying under my will. I done guided you to be under the umbrella. You decided you wanted to get from under the umbrella, but you still want my protection. Psalm 91, under his tabernacle. That's how we get blessed. So fine, do what's pleasing to you. Do what's pleasurable for you. Do what's comfortable for you. And sometimes it might just be eating your own understanding. Your whole life is about you being right. Do that, but don't expect God to cover you there. That's all. Don't play the victim because you're not a victim. You're just disobedient. In most cases.
Thanks for tuning in to today's broadcast. To view videos or make donations, feel free to access our website at www.heirscc.org. Remember, at HEIRS, we believe we're just what you prayed for.